guys here in Jacksonville that did make plays in big-time moments and in the postseason. And in all places, Pittsburgh was, of course, former Jags quarterback David Garrard. And he joins us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Right now, Brent Martin along with Austin Lane. And DG, what's happening, man?
Brent, Austin, what's going on?
Hey, here's the question, right? We're going to talk about 2007 a little bit because tonight we're showing on Fox 30 that playoff game where you had the big 4th and 2, leads to the field goal and a win over Pittsburgh. But who rides the tractor better these days, man? You or Todd Bowman?
Well, you know, Todd got called off the tractor to go make the millions, so I'm going to say he's a better tractor rider than I am.
You did get called off the tractor, at least today, to join us. How's it going anyway, man? We haven't talked to you in a while. Family good?
Yeah, everybody is great. We're doing real good. Excited that sports and football is getting back going again.
Yeah, and I know. Listen, I don't know how tied in, locked in you are to every play last year, but what's your take on Minshew and the opportunity that he's getting? Take away all the other stuff right now, but just Minshew himself. Do you enjoy watching him? You think there's something in there? You're looking forward to it this fall? What's your take on him?
Yeah, the fact that I saw him play at ECU for a couple games and then he went on to, I believe, Washington. To see him play now, you know, I definitely was surprised at how well he picked things up right from the start. I mean, you look back at the KC game that I was at and the way that he played in that game, you know, that game alone gave you a lot of hope this kid could do something, and then just continued on throughout the season, making a ton of plays, a ton of, you know, plays outside the pocket, which, you know, I love even more. So I think he's got a lot of potential. I think what we saw last year, hopefully it was just, you know, a glimpse of what he can do, and hopefully being in the NFL for a second season and, you know, being able to recap a lot of the things that he did watching film and watching other defenses and watching other quarterbacks make a lot of plays and understanding what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. I see him taking another step this year.
David, I have to ask you, though, is there any kind of hesitation on Gardner Minshew since he tried to break his hand with a hammer at ECU, though, trying to get out of playing for ECU? Like, do you hold that against him at all, or is it business as usual and it's all good?
Austin, absolutely. That's definitely one thing I question about him. You know? There's a lot of things you can do, but a hammer to the thing that makes you the player that you are probably isn't the smartest thing. So, you know, but he's that 70 throwback guy. You know, I guess they did that back in the 70s.
Hey, man, when I bring up tonight, I don't even know if you'll flip it on, but I advise you might want to check it out, especially late in the game. 7 o'clock on Fox 30. That's that 2007 playoff game and win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What does come back to you? What do you think about? Is it just the 4th and 2 run, or is there more to it?
No, it's everything. I mean, I still get chills when I do watch the run, but I had a buddy put it on probably 2 weeks ago. He just was showing highlights to his kids because it was like his kids don't even know, you know, Uncle Dave even played football. So he put it on and just watching all of the way it all played out, you know, from Maurice returning the kick, Fred punching it in. I mean, just the ups and downs from that game. And I tell you the biggest things that I remember from that game, you know, was playing well, but then losing the lead from in the second half with a couple just, you know, bad turnovers, bad interceptions, and then getting down to that drive and realizing I've got to do something here or I've just blown everything I've done up to this point, you know, and that includes the whole season. And I wasn't ready to go home. And, you know, thankfully, Dirk Cutter called that play on 4th down to give me a chance to just, you know, do something good in that situation to, you know, help our team.
Well, and David, when you talk about that play, obviously you found a little bit of a seam. I think it was 32 yards for that run, and you had 2 hands on the ball, looking like a, you know, kind of like a Maurice Jones-Drew out there a little bit. I mean, a little swag to you. But be honest, though. So after that play, I think a timeout was called. If a timeout wasn't called and you had to go back to the huddle, did you have the oxygen to call another play, or were you completely gassed in the 4th quarter?
Well, it was only 32 yards. It wasn't 102 yards. So
32 yards is 32 yards, David.
Definitely, I had enough oxygen to call a play and hand the ball off to Maurice. So, yes.
All right. And then, obviously, too, we have to talk about Josh Scobie, right? Josh Scobie, kicking that 25-yard game winner. Obviously, a 25-yard for Josh Scobie. It's a chip shot, but I've been part of some of those game winners, and they're a strenuous time. The nerves are firing on all cylinders. What kind of player were you, David? Were you the kind of guy that wanted to watch the ball go through the uprights, or were you kind of the player that wanted to turn your back a little bit and listen for that crowd reaction and listen for your teammates' reaction and not watch that ball?
Yeah, I was the guy that wanted to turn his back, but then right when it got kicked, you wanted to turn around and watch it. So I was kind of halfway in between. But I tell you what, though, at that moment when I got tackled and got up into the huddle, I kept thinking, okay, what are they doing? Why don't they just bring Scobie in? So I know we had to kill some time, but I was like, man, let's just get up on these guys and get us off the field. We've gotten here. I don't want to make any more mistakes. Bring Scobie out. Let's win the game right here. And but we had to kill some time, and we had to position the ball. I was just thinking, man, every time we snap this ball, something devastating can happen here. But we were able to hold on to it, and Scope came in and put it through.
I think it's interesting, right? The way you describe it is that those thoughts do enter your mind. I mean, they had some turnovers. You had blown a lead. 28-10 was the lead in the fourth quarter. So that's natural. Like, that happens in my golf game, but it actually happens at the highest of levels, too. Like, where doubt creeps in, and you have to kind of push that away.
You do, and I think my motivation, like I said, getting down to that line was I've got to do something. I don't have to try to be a hero on every play, but I've got to make up for my past mistakes, and that drove me to, just to play better and make some plays. Because I'm human, and I could feel like everybody coming down on me, like, man, you blew it, and I didn't want that to be so. Just had to go out and make some plays.
Former Jags quarterback David Garrard with us here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, reminiscing a bit about 2007 and beating the Pittsburgh Steelers twice up in Pittsburgh, much like the 2017 team did. And I think they're still the only two teams to do that. Go beat a team in the regular season on the road and then in the postseason on the road. And David Garrard's Jaguars did that back in 2007. You can watch that game tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. Some quick hitters about that play. Do you remember the call?
Do I remember
like
what
the play call? Like, do those things stay with you?
Oh, yeah. It was just a quarterback draw. I mean, I can rattle off the play call if you want, but it was just a quarterback draw. So it was super easy, just a nice dice right. Quarterback draw on one.
Just like we're playing Madden, Brent.
That's it.
Real simple.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So real simple. It much to it.
Well, listen, we've done this before on TV with David. Like, the calls are complex.
That's why I play defense. I know.
This one was pretty simple, though.
Real simple. I mean, anytime you got a quarterback running with the ball, there's not much language you need to use to say, hey, catch the snap and run up the middle.
It was designed perfectly and blocked very well. There is a little bit of a hold on that left side, potentially.
No, I heard there wasn't a hold because nobody called it, so there was no hold.
I think that was Khalif Barnes, right?
Yeah, hey, rubbing is racing, right?
That's right. But, hey, the underrated part of that play, you still have to – are you going left the whole time, or is that a read on your part? Because if it is, you made a good read.
Yeah, it's a left-leaning quarterback draw. So it's definitely one that you practice. It just depends on the side that the tight end is, and you're basically going away from him because there's less numbers on that side.
Yeah, David Garrard with us. Is there anything in the huddle you remember? Did anybody say something, like maybe something you can't repeat on the air? Or?
No, no. In that moment, there's not too many jokes going on. I do remember the play before. It was just a little flat route to Mercedes. And Coach said, if you have him, if he's wide open, hit him so we can get some more yards, get the first down. If he's not, just sail the ball over his head. So it was kind of just a one read, trying to just quickly get the first down. And I was thinking at that moment, I said, Coach, I know I can get these 2 yards here. He said, okay, well, let's just try to get it right here. And then on fourth down, we'll go for it with you, taking off with the ball. So, man, if he wasn't just running scot-free open on the sideline, I was not throwing the ball anywhere close. And he had Palomalu trailing behind him, and I said, well, I'm throwing this and hitting the guy in the first row, so it's not even going to be close.
That's a good story, man. See, that's a good part of it. And by the way, it sounds like you suggested basically the quarter. You said, I can get these 2 yards.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 245 pounds and there's not many other guys that size other than the linemen, you can usually fall forward for 2 pounds, for 2 yards. And so that's all I was thinking. I broke through the line, and I saw the safety coming down, and I thought, okay, well, he's going to attack me, so let me just protect the ball with 2 hands. And then he didn't tackle me, so I said, oh, let me keep going then. Oh, you know what? I think I might score. Oh, no, he's actually grabbed me from behind, so I'm not that fast.
Yeah. 2 hands again.
Hey, that gain was good enough. David Garrard with us.
Yeah.
Hey, Maurice Jones-Drew, that was actually his coming out party, don't you think? Everything
Sure
he did in
was.
that game?
It was. I mean, his return on the kickoff, and then a play that I completely forgot. He had like a wheel route against a linebacker, and I remember throwing the ball right over the linebacker's head, and he caught it in stride and ran it in for a touchdown. And I thought to myself, man, this guy is going to be pretty doggone good, and he turned out to be even better than that. So, yes, it definitely was a coming out party for him.
Absolutely. And one last part of this, you lose in New England that next game, and this franchise thinks they're so close and picks Derek Harvey and then all the rest. But how much confidence was there going to New England, or did you kind of have some hesitation just looking at tape that week? Do you remember what kind of the mindset was going in there?
No, I knew for us, offensively, we felt really good. I mean, coming off beating Pittsburgh, and just the whole season was just, a miracle run. So we felt really good offensively about what we could do. Now, they did have somebody on their sideline that was a pretty good quarterback, too. So that was more of a fear than anything. And offensively, we couldn't do anything about that. So that was in our defense's hands, but it was a great matchup. I loved the stage. I loved the environment, being up there, everybody hating you, and pretty much going toe-to-toe with those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. David Garrard, you can watch that game tonight. 2007 playoff win on Fox 31, the classic games in Jaguars history. David Garrard, a big part of it. And, hey, man, what do you think about what these guys are doing right now? The best question I've had all week was, what are they doing? Are you asking the same thing?
I am literally scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on. I'm just looking at it thinking, okay, you know what? They're writing this season off as far as trying to be super competitive. They want to get a lot of these young guys some playing time, and so they know that they'll have better positioning in the draft next year, I guess, and it's a total restart, a total rebuild. And because, you think about it, 2017, how many guys here are left, guys that, everybody would know of? So it's hard to see it as a fan, even me. But you got to just hope that they hopefully know what they're doing, and hopefully soon we'll find out. But I think these guys are still going to be competitive. I think they're going to have that energy, that fire. It might not equal a bunch of wins, but we'll see a lot of young players doing a lot of special things this year.
Dave, when we talk about Fournette getting basically just released, and he was obviously probably the top player in that offense last year, and he just gets released. We talked about this on the show a little bit yesterday, and I kind of compared it a little bit to going into that 2011 season when you were the starting quarterback, and then literally a week before our first game against Tennessee, you got let go, and we didn't even see it coming, and that kind of threw the whole locker room kind of in a tailspin a little bit, because we were expecting, all right, Dave's going to lead us out there, going to win week 1, we got a great team, and let's go. And then all of a sudden, our quarterback is let go, and now we're wondering, well, where did this come from? Now, I'm not trying to compare Fournette to your situation, but I feel like a household name like Fournette, and obviously a guy who's been out locker room for a long time, a former captain, if you will. What kind of message does that send to those young guys in that locker room right now?
It definitely sends a jolt to the system in that locker room. But hopefully, and I think the jolt will be, we can't sit here and be messing around. We got to get out here and play, because they will cut your butt really fast if they're not happy with what you're doing. So hopefully the level of intensity picks up, and guys are playing like their job is on the line, because it is.
You've always been really good. David Garrard with us. You've been good about talking about this time to time. And Austin talks about it from a different perspective. is there any bitterness still almost 10 years later about that? Because in Jacksonville, there seems to be about they handled that, how they handled that.
Brent, I'm bitter.
And that's what I was going to tell you, man. Does it make you feel better that a player in that locker room is still kind of bitter about how that went down? Because that was the feeling of the locker room, and players want to be treated the right way.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no bitterness for me. That ended a while ago. That I can understand other people that, it wasn't them, but they were looking at the situation and then they were bitter for me. But for me, it was, I got to move on. I went to a couple other teams. Never really got a chance to get back out on the field. But, Jacksonville was great to me. The fans were all great. They still are. I mean, when I come back to the games, they're always asking me to get back on the field. I wish I could, but my knees won't let me, or my age, or my arm. A lot of things that you got to have to play ball.
Wife and kids, too.
Yeah, exactly. And my wife would be happy. Go get some more game checks. But, I have no ill will to the organization. They gave me my chance, gave me my start. And, I'm very happy for that. Wish it definitely could have ended better, but, that's just – it's part of the game. As you see, it's happened before. It won't be the last time it happens.
Nah, not absolutely. David Garrard, hey, man, we appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. I guess it's time to get back on that tractor now.
Yeah, man. Hopefully you're still wearing your Crocs, too.
I am wearing my Crocs.
No saying, man. I love it.
I am done on the tractor. I just woke up from a little nap because I was struggling from that heat, man. It's hot out there.
Yeah, all right. Hey, good catching up with you. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Tell the family hello.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, that's David Garrard, former Jags quarterback. And tonight, check it out, that game in 2007, 7 o'clock on Fox 30.